So today we are mostly production walkthroughs. There's one job right in the middle of it. We're just going to check in, make sure everything's going good. The second one is a client that actually we dropped the wood off. We haven't installed it yet, but they didn't like the color. So they're kind of second guessing what they chose. It's totally fine. Want to make sure they're happy, but I'm going back out with some more color options to see what we can do for them. And then we've got another job walkthrough that's totally done. Furniture's getting moved back. That'll be a fun one to see. So yeah, mostly production stuff today, but is what it is.
Do you think that door-to-door will work for flooring, or is that something that is just kind of in the past?
I mean, I think door-to-door will work for anything. It's just a matter of, do you want to put the work in and do that grind. I did it. I've done it before, and it was good for me in terms of character building and kind of getting out of my comfort zone and facing rejection and all that. So I'm glad that's where I started and that's where I come from. But in terms of building a scalable team, it's not something I'm interested in. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it could work, but I'm not going to do it that way. Yeah, so staying up to date. I mean, it really just comes down to talking. I talk with vendors a lot. Most of the big guys like Shaw, Mohawk, big manufacturers, they've got annual, I don't know what they call it, not retreats, but showcase events, trade show type things where they're, wanting to show off all the new stuff that they've been working on. But I also couple that with just talking to installers, like, hey, how is installing this thing? What's it been like in the field? Something that some guys really don't like certain types of backing on carpets. Different, if a locking mechanism for planks is weird, or is just different things like that. So I'll talk to the vendors, and then I'll also talk to the installers. Something like, and I'll talk to customers too. Like, how has this been? Something that I think Mohawk recently has been pushing a lot is PureTech, and so I'm talking to the installers. Hey, how is this? How is installing this? And then I'm talking to the clients. A couple of years down the road, how has this held up? How has this been? So really trying to keep my finger on the pulse with everyone, right? Because the manufacturers obviously are pushing something they're profitable on. Installers are going to give me pushback on if something is really difficult or challenging or hard to install, and then the customers are going to give me pushback if the product's not good. So kind of keeping my finger on each of those pulses so that I'm as informed as possible whenever I'm recommending something to a new client.
It's almost like the triple threat right there.
Triple threat, baby. That's right. But
how do you think this one's looking so far?
Yeah, so this one's looking good. Guys made some good progress. I mean, tight spaces like this with a lot of furniture can take a little bit of time, but we're working with what we got. There are some sections here. Subfloor is still solid, but there's just some spots that were somewhat concerning. Client wanted us to just apply some kills, so we went ahead and did that. But yeah, what was here before was like old sheet vinyl and carpet, and it was like really dark. This is brightening up the space a ton. So yeah, this is interlocking waterproof LVP. So yeah, interlocking LVP comes with a pad attached to it, so we don't have to put an additional underlayment. Helps save some costs there. And yeah, these just kind of click together. There's a hammer block that the guys tap these in, and they lock together really tight. So yep, floating floor, so it'll move a little bit as the house moves. That's why we got to leave this expansion gap here on the edge. That gets covered with trim quarter round molding, and then once all that's in, we go through, touch it up, get it nice clean white. Yeah, it'll be looking really fresh. So it's just helping them out. Again, speaking to the kind of more turnkey elements, they had a little bit of wallpaper and just drywall stuff just in this one little room here. So we're going to take care of all that for him too. If you're a new homeowner moving to Raleigh, something you should consider is if you're wanting to change up the floor, spice it up a bit, what do you have? If you have hardwoods and we want to refinish, well, that's a very invasive service that requires pretty much an empty house. So ideally we do that before you move all your stuff in. Flooring in general, if it's a floating floor or carpet, we can kind of work around that. But obviously getting that done before you move your stuff is going to be the easiest thing to do. Also, like what's the broader scope of what you're doing? Are you also painting the house? Are you also doing cabinets? Are you also doing, getting the order of that right is really important. Because if let's say you're doing cabinets and you want to install new hardwoods, you want those hardwoods installed before you do your cabinets. If you're going to go with a floating floor, like a vinyl or a laminate, that needs to be done after the cabinets. Carpet is usually like the very last thing that you do after painting, after everything. It's like the last, in terms of finishes, very last thing you do. But vinyl and other floor types you can kind of weave it in, maybe before or after painting. The timing everything up can be a little bit tricky, but we also try to work with people too, and work with the other trades that are there. The painters are there, or cabinet guys or countertop guys are there, and we try to be very easy to work with. So if it ends up that we're going in before a lot of other trades, we're going to lay down something to protect our floors. So we don't want those other guys, as careful as they might be, something slips, something falls. We don't want any damage done to the new floors. But also, if we're refinishing, we're sanding, well, then we want to make sure we're allowing a proper cure time for those finishes to cure before anyone's walking on it, putting heavy traffic on it, putting any kind of adhesive tape or anything like that on it. There's a lot of that to consider because of my background in trades. I'm kind of aware of all that can go into a home renovation, so I try to be a helpful resource for people if you're moving to Raleigh and wanting to update your home. So this client, actually, we dropped off the floor. They made their selections and everything was fine and dandy, but they're starting to pull out the samples because we're acclimating the floor. They're pulling it out, looking at it, and being like, actually, I really don't like the color. Glad they brought it up now before we installed it, and happy to obviously, flooring's a big deal, so want you to be happy with it. So anyway, we're going back out, going to kind of reselect our color and try to help them out with getting something that they're going to love.
How often does this happen?
This doesn't happen often. It's very rare. This is maybe the second time something like this has happened, but I get it. People looking at samples and they like one thing one day, but then when they start sleep on it or start thinking about it and starting to see it in different lights, it can change a little bit. For them, they were trying to match some existing flooring that they had, and they thought that the match was closer than it was. So. Hey, buddy. Hey, say what's up? Good, man. I got JB here. I'm just going to get some footage of the floor, if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome.
Rid of is still upstairs.
Still upstairs, okay.
Yeah, chair and stuff like that.
Okay.
Most of the stuff down here, I think, is staying.
Okay.
So, obviously, we talked about the rug. We can
Yep.
leave that off.
Yep.
So.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good.
Now, the one thing is, he came this for
I'll ask her if he was going to do anything down here.
Okay,
If not,
yeah.
it's something we can touch up easy.
Okay, yeah, we never got the paint or anything. So
Got it. Okay.
But I've got all the mixture, whatever the.
Yeah, colors and stuff.
For it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we replaced all the carpet throughout upstairs, handled all kind of moving everything around as we were going. Knocked this out in 2 days, which kind of stayed a little bit late to get it done, but yeah, this is kind of what people expect when they're moving into a new home, new carpet, moving ready. And you can kind of see a lot of this where the seaming really looks good and really came together well.
All right, how did it go?
Great, yeah, they're lovely people. They were very apologetic and it's like, yeah, no worries. It's totally fine. We'll get it swapped out, get the new stuff ordered, and you know, I think some people might charge them for the extra swap, but I mean, I'm not going to do that. We'll just try to use the stuff or the color that they are decided not to go with somewhere else.
And do you think they picked out a good color?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get close to like what they have, and you know, I can kind of see why maybe the sample that they picked, like it looked close, but you know, when you get a bunch of those planks out together and really get a sense for it, you know, it is considerably lighter. So I think we got something just a touch darker, a little bit more golden, closer to what they have, and yeah, we'll get them squared away. At the end of the day, you know, I want people to be happy. So you know, I'm glad they expressed, you know, that they didn't like the color, even if they like we installed it and they came home and it was like, oh shoot, we don't actually like the color that we picked. I'd still probably work with them on like getting something, because I never want to leave a job and customer not be happy, because that's no fun. So you guys saw last time at the visitation center, things are moving, but with, you know, kind of mentioned it last time, just wanting to make sure everything's kosher with the city and everyone's on board. So there's our work order has been sent. We're just waiting for approval for that, and which I expect to have really within the next couple of days. And then it's just a meeting to figure out the logistics. And so hopefully within the next, if we're up to me, within the next 2-3 weeks, we can get rolling with that. It sounds like we're going to be able to just kind of knock it all out at once, as opposed to having to split it up. So that'll be good. And it's going to be a fun project. There's some more people getting involved. There's an interior designer, I think, that's going to help kind of freshen up the space. And yeah, it's going to be exciting to see it all come together as a nice, cozy, amazing place for families to reconnect and meet up. That's all the production walkthroughs really for today, right on time, which is awesome. I've got a quick call at my house, meeting a guy over there. You want me to talk about coaching, like go into the investing in myself. And then I've got a coaching call. I'm big on improvements. You don't know what you don't know. So investing a lot in myself in this year, growing as a leader, growing as just a person in general, you know, stewarding well this organization that I'm a part of. I'm doing some coaching with Dan Martell, who's awesome dude, very what I lack in energy. I borrow a lot of his. So
That's the energetic person you are.
As the energetic person I am, yes, very drawn to high energy people. So today was all about keeping that finger on the pulse of the business with production, making sure everything's going the way I want it to go, and people are happy. And so now, big part of what I'm interested in is, you know, developing myself, learning from people, mentors, and so that's kind of what I have blocked for the rest of the day is personal development, coaching with the one and only Dan Martell. So for more content like this, check out the last video, Facebook, Instagram, post every day. So check us out. See you next time.